this is. I think it's only
4.
like 4 or
I
something.
think it's 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll do it a little more frequently. So as we last left off, you guys had just started heading back home after an interesting night at the Standing Stones. So was there any conversation or anything on the way home, or are you just going to trudge home?
I think Otto would say something, yeah. Good, Wolf.
No, I just wanted to recap, memory-wise. The girl that was sacrificed was who?
I don't think we know.
Because there was 2 girls that were missing.
You may or may not have known who that is. I don't think you ever actually personally met her. And
so there was 2 people missing, I thought, and one was the uppity.
Yeah, there was
the uppity lady that looked to be in a church that was like burn Rivers' character.
Yes.
Yeah, and Darren described the body on the slab as being brownish hair, normal physique, having a sheeny type of cloth,
right.
I think.
Right. Yeah. So that was Audrey that was missing. Excuse me. Along with I forget her name. Let me look this up here. It's been so long. Eve. Okay. Audrey and Eve were the 2 that were missing.
And Audrey was the church lady or whatever.
Yep, she was the really religious woman. And I got one detail wrong. I had told you she was married to one of the guys. It was her brother. It wasn't her husband.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Who was the husband that was talking about her?
It was the brother who was.
Okay, Audrey's brother.
Yeah, my bad on that detail.
Okay, that's cool. That's the main thing.
They were both unmarried women.
Okay. And if I remember right, too, Ghost seemed to recognize one of the people.
Yep.
Yeah, had a conversation. And that's what Otto would talk. Reinhold! He looks, and it's raining still, I'm assuming.
It is.
He looks out.
By the time you can really have a conversation, the rain has let up a bit, but It's still raining.
He looks over at his son and... Reinhold, who was that woman? What, you are awful familiar with her? That seems unlike you. What are you up to?
Study.
I thought you were going to the tower to study. What else is there to study?
They know only certain forms of arcane arts. She knows other ones. Diversify my interests.
Diversify your interests in the stabbing of someone on a block? Sacrifices? We don't need any trouble. Where we're going, you know they would kill over such a thing. The one god they call? I care not about any gods, but if our benefactors at that village find out anything about this, we'll all burn like your friend.
Getting into trouble with benefactors didn't stop you from associating with dangerous people back at home. You don't have to lecture me on consequences.
That was not of my doing.
You two need to stop arguing amongst yourselves and figure out what we're going to tell the headman when we get back.
Well, for once I agree with my willful son. We say nothing.
Agreed.
Else we bring their eye on us, and we do not need Reinhold's proclivities to be found out by these foolish men, zealots, and crazy people. I don't want to get strung up. I don't know about you two.
They would burn us, not string us up. They've shown as much in the past.
Well, that makes it so much better.
Rekkr. He looks kind of troubled by your comments, but he also knows his own religion as well. I guess we do what we must.
Yes, I guess we do. Reinhold, we'll have a further discussion about this and that woman.
If you wish.
Oh, I do. We must know what is around us and what is threatening us. She might want to threaten us next.
Doubtful.
You are very wise. I can see it.
I get all my best qualities from you, Father. Of course I would be.
Good looks, charm, wit. Otto's willing to not talk about it any further currently.
You two be quiet. We have eyes upon us.
Oh, God. Otto rolls his eyes. Of course we do. And he kind of slinks down.
Yeah, so I'm going to crouch down too. Try to look further through the rain and darkness.
Same.
Okay. Rekkr, when you said that and you all start looking, you sort of see it kind of slink off into the rain. Whoever it was, kind of hunched over, and it moves quickly.
Otto...
I will move quickly.
Yeah. Otto says, well, our lie is not going to hold up if whatever was watching us reports us back to the Lord. We have to find that thing or person, whoever it was.
Okay. Rekkr, you said you're dashing off after it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Why don't you...
After all, we are looking for two women in the woods.
Yes. Do you have any backgrounds that you think would apply to chasing somebody through mud and rain in the night?
I'm a mercenary. Scouts and spies.
Perhaps. Yeah, that's. I'll give you that. So, so that will negate the bane from the bad weather. So just give me an agility check to try to catch up to this thing. If you need the, as always, if you have forgotten, it's a 10 is the target number. Oh my! Look at that.
Do not outrun me, gingerbread man.
Okay. You catch up to this scrawny little creature. Looks like a child, and you can hear it as you get closer. You can hear it panting, as it sounds like it's got bare feet slapping in the mud ahead of you, and you're gaining on it. What is your what are you trying to do as you get closer?
To me, it looks like a kid in the rain.
Yeah.
Immediately, you there, young'un, no need to run. Are you hurt? Do you need to be safe?
It looks back at you, and there's a moment where there's just enough light you kind of see its face, and it's not the face of any child. It's kind of a twisted, exaggerated face, bulbous, and it's got fat cheeks, and something is, but it's no child.
I immediately skid to a halt and get back defensive. And what manner of foul creature are you?
It momentarily stops when you stop and looks at you, and then it kind of tears off again. What are you other two guys doing while he's doing this?
Following behind him at a slower pace as to not fall and smack my face in the mud.
Okay. Yeah, so really, so you have stopped Rekkr, and when those two kind of catch up to you and it sees those two, then it kind of takes off and starts running again.
Well,
but you're pretty close to it.
Yeah, but my sense of them being safe as opposed to running down some demon in my mind, I would wait. I would procrastinate till they approached.
Okay.
Basically taking a defensive in case it tries to come back.
Okay.
But then when I hear him like within distance, over here, quickly and quietly.
What happened? What did you see?
Some boggant or imp or something. Thought it was a child at first, but it's deformed.
Probably one of your friend's minions. I saw what I thought to be beasts.
I too saw such things. We could be messing with the Fey folk, children of the woods.
Well, he wasn't heading towards the woods. He was heading back into the hills this way. The Fey would prefer the woods. You would assume.
Mm-hmm. Could have been goblin, orc, maybe. No clue.
Describe it to me.
Small, barefoot, like a child in height, but its face was bulbous and deformed.
Is there
Not
any way
natural.
I could recognize this from books I might have read?
It could be any number of weird little, Fey folky kind of thing.
There are primitive tribes amongst my people that lived under the ground, worshipped the Earth Mother and bears. They are known to inbreed. Could be something similar.
Bears? Otto just looks at Rekkr up and down. We should just leave it. No reason, if it's not gonna harm us, no reason to get into a fight or poke it.
And it is unlikely to report to the townsfolk given its appearance. They'd probably burn it the moment it walked into town.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too, I think this.
Let's just keep our eyes open so it doesn't come back and try to steal our things.
Aye. Come before we catch our deaths of cold. Let's get back off onto the road.
Okay, the road's not that far away. You make it back to the road just fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow the road with everyone else, complaining about my feet again.
Of course. Okay. Well, the rain kind of lets up as you go along, and eventually you get home. And by the time you get home, it is early morning. The sun is coming up. And you're probably kind of bleary-eyed and weary when you drag yourself into town. So, you are home. Ooh, Ghost, you're making a weird noise.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Is it
is.
still doing it?
Nope, not now.
Sounded like you're shaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had my mic tuned in between times when I talk, so that maybe it was static from that.
All right. So anyway, you stumble into town. What are you gonna do? It looks like this is still an early morning. It's a farming village. There's a lot of people that are up. You can see some people gathered in the center of town. which is not usually what happens in the morning.
Yeah. We should just get this over with, tell them we didn't see anything, and then go to sleep. My eyes are tired, and my feet are weary.
Agreed. You want to save that discussion for this afternoon?
Yes.
Get out of these wet clothes and sleep next to the forge, I think.
Okay. So at the center of town, they're discussing the missing women. No one has seen them in the night. Neither of them has come home, and they're kind of debating whether they should keep looking. And Broderick is clearly unhappy, and he's saying that the Lord is demanding that they get back to work, and that if they haven't come back now, they're gone. But he doesn't seem too happy about it, and he sees you come up, and there's a moment of hope in his eyes, and he sees that you're alone, and then he just kind of looks a little dejected.
Yeah, Otto just shakes his head and would say, "Nothing. We found nothing. Apologies. It's unfortunate."
He says, "How far did you search?"
Past the wizard's tower.
He frowns. He says, "We have exhausted everything we can think of. We've scoured everything around here. You went the furthest of all of us. I thank you for your bravery and willingness to look."
Of course, anything that the Shadowshade Mercantile Company can do for friends.
This guy.
He kind of he kind of blinks a little at you, but he thinks about it for a second, and he says, "It's much appreciated."
He nods and turns around and heads home. You go ahead.
And he says to Rekkr and to Reinhold, he says, you two should slip off and sleep. I'm sure you've been up all night. I won't say anything.
Yeah, I was going to say Rekkr wouldn't have really wasted time with words. He would have just looked at him when he made eye contact. He just let out a deep sigh and just shake his head no and keep walking.
All right. So you go to sleep. Next morning, of course, you guys sleep most of the day, I would guess. Although Rekkr, you're probably a little bit of a later sleeper. Nothing's changed by the end of the day. It's still quiet.
Yeah, I sleep until probably something similar to 4 p.m. I get my 8 hours, put it that way.
Yeah. So
I'm smart enough to strip down, stoke the forge nice and hot, and then go to sleep till it all toasty.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, the day passes. Are you gonna try to go to sleep that night? What are you guys gonna do?
I think I need to have a talk with Reinhold.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the tavern.
Okay.
Check up on old drunkie and make sure he's eating.
And have a drink with myself.
He is. Yeah. The mood at the tavern is very somber. People are. Like somebody mentions the missing women, and the rest of them just kind of stare them down like they don't want to talk about it. It's not good.
Yeah, just drink and listen, see if I can hear anything, rumors, tales.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, there are theories. One of the farmers says at one point he wonders if maybe they wandered too close to the goblins and got taken. And Broderick just says they're not that foolish. They wouldn't go that far. And he says, well, we don't know where they went.
Talks about goblins. I'll look and I'll go, you have puke here.
The farmer says, he just looks at you and what did you call?
Oh, sorry, my language, that's what we call them. They call them the puke.
It's Dylan. He kind of gets up and walks over and sits next to you at the bar. And he says, what do you know about these things?
Where I come from, the puke, they are small, child-sized folk. Vile tempers, known to dabble in sorcery. Shapeshifters, even.
Yes. That's what I've been telling people for years. They live in those hills. I'm pretty sure that's where the Smith brothers were disappeared. That the ones that you replaced. I think they wandered too far there. They like to hunt, sometimes too close to their lands. No one seems to want to listen to me.
If there's a great number, or they have a leader, they could prove to be quite a threat.
That's what I've been saying. It's good to see there's somebody with sense around here. And you can see Broderick just kind of, he just kind of shakes his head and goes back to eating and talking in low tones with his other farmers.
Well, I'll shoot the breeze with this guy Dylan for a while. Tell about my exploits.
All right.
First time I really opened up about all the stuff I run into. But yeah, goblins in Nordic society, they were kind of weird. They were.
He listens pretty wide-eyed, and he just you can see as you're telling these stories. I don't imagine this is your intention, but he's taking on a slightly worshipful attitude towards you. You can see he's kind of in awe. You're telling him things that you don't think are that big a deal, but clearly his life has not. He hasn't seen anything like that.
If he's that clingy and shit like that, I'll try to teach him some kind of defense against him. Something. Don't best you not mess with them by yourself. Says some have been known to be afraid of fire. Your best bet is to get away from them as quickly as possible. Where you see one, there's usually more. They're sneaky little devils.
I imagine they could take even a man down like you. For the enough of them.
They could try. And slap him on the back real hard. And when it reaches the point where he's like getting super wide-eyed, I just be like, okay, you'll have a good night then, and just cold deadpan him, just continue with my drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's over.
See you later, fucker.
Yeah, well, he stays there and orders another drink for both of you. And he seems content he didn't keep trying to get you to talk, but he seems pretty happy just to be sitting next to you.
Okay. I'm cool for small talk, but I'm not going to keep going on and on and on.
Yep.
Where we fade off to silence, the father and son can have their talk.
Yes.
But Dad,
all right.
go outside.
Getting involved with dangerous women.
I want to go play. All right.
Well, I can swim in the well.
All right, boys.
Otto has his
I
pipe
assume
out.
it's
Yeah.
over dinner or after
Yeah.
dinner?
That's, whichever. We'll say after. Otto goes and grabs a bottle of wine and pours out 2 cups. It's time we had a chat. You've been keeping secrets from me.
I have.
It's very dangerous, these secrets. Especially in this place.
I manage just fine, Father.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about my secrets trickling over into your business ventures.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your hide. I don't want to see you put on a pyre like that friend of yours.
They could try. I don't imagine they'd get very far.
Oh, you think yourself that strong, do you? You weren't that strong when you were laying on the ground, blood pouring out of your gut in front of me at my feet only weeks ago.
That experience opened my eyes. I saw that I had to be stronger for that very reason. It won't happen again.
Overconfidence is not befitting you, Reinhold. Not befitting at all. Let me ask you. This woman, what is her name?
Well, what's her name? It's been like 2 months. I feel bad that I don't remember this, but...
Mirsa.
Mirsa. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, her name is Mirsa.
Mirsa. She's a villager.
She stays very far from town, but she attends service.
Let me ask you, how did you come into contact with this Mirsa? Did she approach you?
We had met previously. She saw my potential.
Met previously where?
On one of my trips to here.
She knew your potential by just seeing you walk in the street. Don't be coy with me, boy. Tell me what happened.
We discussed things. We had correspondence with one another about my interests. And she knew a great deal about the arcane. So I began to see her on my trips here. I was already here to begin with. I would take my time, learn from her, come back, and you were none the wiser.
Again, just takes a puff of his pipe and kind of looks off and shakes his head. It's just a dangerous game you're playing, Reinhold. We need to swindle these people into more than taking their coin, but to believing that we are one of them.
I feel that they're going to discover any kind of schemes we'll put forth long before we can fully enact them, Father. And when that happens, we need to be ready.
They'll find out how. How will they find out? Because you're tramping around with pagans? That is how they will find out.
She's no pagan. She attends service faithfully. And I would just smile coyly at him.
And they seem to think otherwise of many other people. Why not her? He shrugs. Especially when there is truth to what they might think.
They have no evidence.
Did they have evidence enough to burn your friend when only knowing him for moments? I think they did. They don't need evidence. They need superstition.
And I sort of widen my eyes and like that kind of face when he refers to if they had evidence for the blonde Faye fella. It's like, Father, you didn't know that man as well as I did. He was a walking piece of evidence that filled into their superstitions. That was a rare case, I think. Mirsa's much more careful, and so am I.
Yes, you should be careful. I do not want to see you share that man's fate. No matter what you think of me, I am not heartless.
I think outside of family you are, but it makes little difference to me.
Do not close yourself off too far there, Reinhold. Someday you may need me.
And you are interrupted by the sound of wood rapping on your door. Tap, tap, tap. Not quietly, but not very loudly either.
I think
Otto,
we should table this discussion, Father.
he nods and then waves over towards the door, kind of like holding his pistol in his lap as Reinhold, or he assumes Reinhold's going to open the door for him.
Sure.
Do you go around with your pistol loaded?
Oh, no, mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Just asking, just
No.
out of idle curiosity. Okay.
Fear is a great deterrent. That's what Reinhold said, right?
That's right.
All right, Reinhold, what do you do?
I get up and walk over to the door. I'm a bit prepared because we aren't expecting company, I imagine, so
Mm-hmm.
not with any weapon or anything that's blatant. I'm not gonna walk around with my stick, but
Okay.
You live in the hood, man. Sign knocks on the door, everybody's going for stuff.
Yeah. All the guns come out. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you open the door, and there is a woman in a cloak standing out front and she apparently rapped on the door with a gnarled wooden staff. And even with the hood drawn down mostly over her face, Reinhold, at this close distance, you recognize her as Mirsa.
what time of day is it? Evening?
Yes, the sun has. It's actually, yeah, I'd say it's early night. It's like the equivalent of 9 p.m. ish. So it's dark. So you just kind of make out her face in the dim light from your room.
And I would look at Otto and then look back at the door. Did you wish me to come outside, or should I invite you in?
She says, "I am as comfortable in as out."
Can Otto see who this is? He's trying to see.
He sort of sees the shape. There's some person in a cloak, in dim light outside because it's dark.
Otto just says, "Who is it? Have them come in. Don't skulk about."
And I would sort of raise my eyebrows at Mirsa and then gesture her to come in.
All right. She does. And she enters, and you can see she's carrying a gnarled staff, and she kind of looks over at Otto and just sort of nods and says, "I thank you for inviting me into your home."
Otto puts his hand that's not on the pistol on his temples and kind of rubs them. He's like, "Oh, wonderful. Yes, come in. Have some wine." And he grabs another cup and dumps some wine in.
You gotta do it.
Did you want anything to eat, Mirsa?
She says, "I have eaten, but I would not refuse your hospitality."
And I would bring her a bowl of the best oats we have.
Steel cut oats.
Steel cut. Rekkr cut him himself.
Yes. All right. And what is Rekkr doing?
Well, I was looking at the map for windows, but there's no windows on this building.
No, there are no windows. There's just in the ceiling. There's an escape for the smoke. That's about it.
I'd go full creeper once the door shuts.
Okay. Yeah, she comes in while you're preparing the food, and she just stands, and Otto has poured the wine, and if you offer her a goblet, she takes it.
Mm-hmm. He does, and then he goes, kind of sits in the corner and just kind of watches.
And she takes a sip. And she says, "My apology for the intrusion, but I promised your son to have a word with him."
Yes, by all means. And he just kind of like waves, kind of like talk. He's not about to leave.
She she waits for you to finish preparing the food, and then she'll sit at the table with you, assuming you're sitting too, Reinhold.
Yes.
And she takes a few polite bites, but she's clearly not terribly interested in the food.
Neither are we, so it's fine.
And she said, "You had questions for me, Reinhold, and I promised to answer them."
Well, you could explain last night, if that's something you're able to do.
That is not, as I said to you earlier, easily explained. There is a change coming, and there are some of us who are willing to do what is necessary to prepare for that change.
What change do you mean?
There is a malevolence. He goes by many names, but the fairies call him the Devourer. He swallows worlds, destroys them entirely. Ours is but one world, and it has been long foretold that this earth would come to an end through this Devourer.
Otto's eyes are basically rolling out of his head over there in the corner.
Tell me more. What do you know about this Devourer?
The Fairy Queen saw him. Even she does not know if it was a true visitation or just her sight. But it is coming, and it hungers for this place, and it has chosen us to be its next meal, I suppose you could say. What we know is that this Devourer is always brought in by civilized folk, and she kind of subtly glances over at Otto as she's saying this. Civilized folk who think that they are being wise and seeking power they should not seek. And it opens a door for this being. What you saw last night was a ritual. A woman from your village here who decided to renounce her civilized self and embrace her true nature, her simple human nature.
Did you say you were learning something from this person, Reinhold?
Yes, everything that I'm learning is very important, despite your reservations.
Her human nature. That makes no sense.
Man has changed over time, Otto. We were once simple folk. The Woads were the simplest form of human culture. We have lost touch with that and allowed ourselves to be changed, seduced by thoughts of power and a life of ease. And there are some of us who have renounced that and who understand that the only way to preserve our world is to abandon the trappings of civilization.
To become a pauper? That is your answer to saving the world from something called the Devourer? He looks very questioning. Like, how come that makes any sense, right?
She says, wealth is a path to power, and power corrupts man and fills his head with foolishness and makes him weak.
If you say so. I've never met a rich man that is weak.
Every rich man I have ever met is weak.
Look where we were, Father, and look where we are now. We have fallen in despair.
That is because of him. Nothing more. An outside influence that killed your mother and would kill me. An outside influence unnatural like this woman. Let me ask you. And he walks over to
Mirsa.
No, he walks over to like a table where his bullets and gunpowder is and begins packing his pistol as he's talking. I would ask you, and he kind of like lingers with the question while he's doing this, and if she doesn't prevent him from packing his pistol and completely ramming a bullet up into the...
She's not acting. She's looking at you. I don't know if you're not really looking at her, but you can feel her eyes on you.
Yeah, he's kind of when he's done, he turns around and he says, "Do you know a fellow named Simon?"
A fellow named Simon. She says, "This name is not familiar to me. Should I know Simon? Is he another one of your wealthy, powerful men?"
"Oh, I don't believe so. Not as it were. Simon is... well, I don't even really know exactly what Simon is. It is a thing. A vile thing. Perhaps you do not know what Simon is, or perhaps it is a different name." And he just kind of shrugs.
She says, "Tell me about this Simon."
"I do not know everything about Simon, as I said. What I know is that there are a group of men in Philton that call to Simon for their well-being and such, with rituals similar to yours, though I have never seen one personally."
It sounds like there is much you have not seen, Otto.
Yes, there's certainly. I do speculate, but I know that my son and I have been driven from our homes in Philton by something I would consider pagan and perverse. I come here and find something pagan and perverse. Now, mind you, I am not a godly man, so do what you wish, but such odd beliefs do not tend to go over well, especially in this place.
I know that well.
And he just shrugs and he's like, perhaps if you could find out more about Simon, that would behoove you and I. For if you are not with Simon, you are against Simon.
If Simon is a man as you describe him, then it sounds like I am against him.
I
But
do
am
not.
against many men who live in the city.
Yes, I do not believe. I do not believe Simon is a man per se. Perhaps he is the leader of the cult, but I think it is more than that. I suspect perhaps Simon is a entity, an organization. I believe that it is a danger to what you might hold dear as well.
I would not be surprised.
Let me ask you then, do you know this Zeldin?
The old man in the tower. I do not know him, but I know of him. I have watched him, but he does not stray from his tower.
I know that it is true that he has some dealings with Simon. That is beyond a doubt. And it troubles me. But regardless,
Her
go back
eyes
to...
narrow for just a moment. You could see her thinking.
Yeah, he just kind of shrugs and he's like, I suppose I have nothing else to say if you do not know what Simon is or who it is. Or it is a question I am asking myself. Go, speak with my son. Do not bring harm to him in this place.
I have no wish to bring ill upon any of you. In fact, I do not wish ill on anyone if it can be avoided. But I fear that that may not be avoidable for much longer. And there are many who would urge more drastic actions than I. She turns to Reinhold and she says, I don't expect you to make much sense of what I'm telling you, but I promised to answer your questions, and so I am doing what I can.
What drastic measures did you mean others wish to take?
There are those who believe that the only hope we have is to bring down all of civilization, destroy the empire. It has already started. The emperor is dead. The orcs who slew him are dismantling the empire as we speak. But how successful they will be, who knows? And whether it will stop the end, I cannot say. It feels more the act of desperation than of calculated plan.
And what will you do in the meantime? Continue to sacrifice people?
The sacrifice is unfortunate but necessary for her to reach her form.
What did she change into? A goat? A sheep?
Nothing quite so simple.
I saw, well, what I could see, it didn't look like anything I would want to change into, or no person should willingly.
I wouldn't expect you to want to, Otto.
I
It would not suit you.
It doesn't suit you either. You are here. You
I
do not
am.
have not taken that form. It must not be so great. I have always found that men or women in power, they may tell a man to make a sacrifice for the greater good, but often they choose not to do so.
She just looks at you.
He shrugs and sits back down.
And what would these drastic measures, the downfall of civilization, what would that even entail? What would they do?
She shrugs. She says there is no master plan. There are only individual groups doing what they believe they must do. We must all do what we believe is best.
Will you continue to train me? To teach me what you know?
She shrugs and says, if it is your wish, I can teach you what I know, as you are able to learn and willing to learn.
I would like to.
Then we will. She says, you may come to me when you wish. If I am not there, wait, and I will know if you're coming, and I will come back as soon as I am able. No harm will come to you on your way.
I nod and I say, and your secret of what we saw, it stays with us. We'll tell no one.
She says that is probably for the best.
Agreed.
I am already not well in this village. It would be inconvenient to have angry farmers hunting me in the swamp. And she kind of smiles. And she rises and she said, thank you, Otto, for your hospitality. Those were fine oats. And I've not tasted wine in a while. That was a treat. And
Well, if you have coin, you're welcome at the Shadowshade Mercantile Company at any time. He says this with a big, shit-eating grin, you know?
Yeah, she ignores you. And just kind of looks at you for a moment, Reinhold, and then nods and heads for the door.
Do you need me to walk you home?
Oh, no, I will be fine, thank you.
He sort of frowns and nods.
But I
just open the door for her.
All right. And she just nods at you again and slips through the door.
As she's coming out the door, I'll be there. And I'll be, if I can hear the sounds of creaking on the footsteps, be acting like I was coming up to knock on the door.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And she comes out, I'll
He sees
do
you
the whole fake stumble into like a surprise thing and mutter under my breath. I'll go, "Oh, blessed be, I'm sorry," or "Blessed be." That's like an old pagan term, if I remember right. See how she responds to that.
Yeah, she just looks at you. Yeah, blessed be. That's fine. Yeah, and she just kind of looks at you and nods and says, "And a good night to you."
Do my business, like going up to the door to knock on it, probably as he's shouting it in my face.
Yeah, Reinhold, you can see him as she, as she goes through the door. He's kind of doing that. So.
Rekkr, what are you doing here?
Just making sure you're all right. To wish you a good night before I turned in.
Slips around the corner there.
All right then. Do you want to come in as well?
No, just making sure you're all right.
Father's a bit drunk, but other than that, we're fine.
Tell him to come in for some wine.
I think he heard you just fine.
Maybe one glass or two.
I would open the door, let him in, and then go to read some books.
Yeah, I would happily drink wine with a Rekkr for a while.
Yeah, I'll come in and I go, just wanted to make sure you were okay. I seen that woman walking here when I was leaving the tavern.
Yeah, she is betwixt my son here. He's quite smitten, I think.
Given what we ran into, I just want to make sure no one's turning into toads.
Otto nods. I agree with that. Let's have some more wine.
Oh, I'll quaff another goblet down and grab it and pour it myself. Because hell, I've been at the bar already. So.
I'm sure Rekkr can handle his liquor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be snoring in the corner soon.
You know, let you say a little bit, and then I'll just be like, "Fine, be off." Got my free hooch. I'm cool. As long as you two are safe, I'm fine with that. I'll be back. Go back to the smithy. Get a little more sleep. You as well. And try to remember when farm day is, because didn't we do the job swap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't pick weeds, let alone pull carrots.
Hardly pull turnips. I mean, farming's fucking hard work.
I'll be sleeping.
Yep.
But yeah, whatever percentage I heard from outside, I'm cool with digesting and just keeping to myself. So.
I'm just gonna say, yeah, you heard what you heard.
Yeah. But there's no need to do anything. My main goal was basically, like I said, make sure you're okay. But I'll definitely quaff down some wine. Then it just be like right when you're in the middle of talking, just picture Otto trying to say something and he just goes, "Right, I'm off, then." Just stand up and leave.
I'm describing like accounting to you, basically.
You know, I heard to the Far East, they have these devices with these beads on them that you can keep. Right, I'm off.
Good to hear about your financials. Go fuck yourself. See ya.
You two keep safe. We'll see you upon the morrow. Then I will John Wayne swagger myself back to the smithy, hoping no old ladies with staves and cloaks jump out at me.
No, no one jumps out at you.
No deformed
Right.
kids.
Let's take a quick. Okay, yeah. On that note,
Rekkr pokes my eye out.
Here to sell this.
okay. Well, welcome back. So, yep. So, unless there's something you want to do, a few days are gonna pass now. Just uneventfully working and Otto, I assume you're kind of getting your little shop set up the way you want it.
Yep.
Now that you've got some stuff.
I don't know if it'll have any mechanics, get any bonuses mechanic-wise, but I know that Reinhold likes this quarterstaff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way maybe I can, if he wants, he can give me like one of his pewter cups or dishes, and I could like steel shod the caps for him? Could start work on that.
I'm sure you could turn it into a buck and a quarterstaff.
Yeah, Dodge turn tanny purse.
All right. Yeah.
If you want a good silver, I could put some silver caps on it. But just a little something to pass the time, basically, a project. Because I actually like the little kid, seeing how my wife and daughter's dead. That's how I'm kind of bonded. In my mind, it's just like, yeah, whatever, your dad's a dick. I'll show you how to be a man.
Yep. All right. It's a few days later, and you hear from Broderick in the afternoon that the Lord wishes to see the three of you when you're done with your work day.
Shit.
Yeah. Wonderful.
If he knows he heard anything, then we know he's in league with that little goblin inbred kid.
No, Otto would suspect that maybe someone saw her come to our house.
I'd bluntly ask. I'd go, what is this about? I'm a busy man.
He would say, I have no idea. The Lord's he just says, Lord Winthrop told me to fetch the three of you as soon as you're done with your work and send to him.
Very well. I'll be there.
Yeah, you Rekkr, you saw the son of the Lord, Edmund. He was out of the keep today, and you saw him talking to Broderick not too long ago before this.
Okay, so the son of the Lord.
Yep, Edmund.
I'm trying to remember our first meeting with him, because the old man was the old cantankerous Old Testament type. I'm trying to remember what the.
I think
the son was there. He just didn't say much.
No.
Yeah, I just remember him being very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Grouchy.
Very well, grouchy, but like being almost infirm, and basically just wanted to make sure that we loved the Lord and that sort of thing. Is what I recall.
Mm-hmm. And made sure that we signed our lives away.
Yeah. That too. So yeah, I'll go.
I mean, I guess I'm going.
All three of yous?
Can't weasel out of the Lord's summons. This isn't my dad we're talking about.
All right. I'll take you up to the keep. Yep, the guard at the gate looks like he's expecting you. Evan, I don't know if you've probably never even had much words with him, but he just kind of nods you in. And when you go in, you can see that the Lord and his son are already at their supper with their priest guy there at the table. And you can see also there's the other keep guard there just kind of standing, and two guys, lightly armed men, standing at the fireplace just kind of warming their hands. It's kind of a chilly day. You're getting the first whips of fall. And you recognize actually that they're wearing, not that there's much of a livery for Philton, but when they kind of turn and look at you, you can see the little Philton shield sewn onto their wool, not exactly a surcoat, but something like that. And they just kind of...
Philton's where we came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Otto walks in and bows deeply. My lord.
He's got his mouth full.
Yeah, he just waits there.
Yeah, he just, you can see him. You can feel him kind of studying you. What do the other two of you do?
They're the ones that wanted me.
Yeah. I bow a bit, not quite as deeply as Otto, because I'm not trying to be pretentious, but...
Alright, and what did you say, Rekkr?
I said, I show up. They're the ones that wanted me.
Yeah, so you're just standing there. Yeah, he doesn't seem...
definitely eyeing the guards, sizing them up.
Yeah.
See if it's a tense situation or not.
You look around, you can see what you presume are probably their spears in the corner here. So they don't look, they just have daggers at their belts. They don't look like they are ready for a big fight.
Yeah, they're here on some kind of semi-official manner, yeah.
And finally, the son kind of, you can see Edmund sort of looking at his father a little nervously, like expectantly, and trying to figure out if he's noticed that you're there or not. And then you hear him kind of finally whispers, "Father, they're here." And he looks at him and he just kind of smacks him in the face, the father, and he says, "I know they're here. I see them. They can wait while I finish my mouthful." And he takes his sleeve and wipes his mouth on it, and then takes his fingers to kind of clean the corners a little bit, and licks his lips, and then looks up and then licks his lips again. They seem a little dry. And Otto, son, and Rekkr, I believe is your name, they say. He says, "Word has come to me from Philton."
Yes.
And he kind of gestures at the two men there, and he says, "These two clowns here say that the captain of the guard there wants a word with you two, or the three of you, rather."
The captain of the guard wants to talk to us. Why is that?
he says, apparently there's some matter you can assist him with.
Well, when I return to Philton for supplies, perhaps I will drop in on the good captain.
These two guys look at each other, and this one here kind of looks at the other, and then he looks and he says to the Lord, the captain was insistent that they come right away, my lord. And the old man says, I heard you the first time when you told me that earlier. I'm not too old to remember. And he just kind of looks down at the floor. And he says, I don't want any trouble with the town.
Oh, of course not. Me and the captain of the guard are good friends.
Excellent, then take care of this matter, whatever it is. Do haste and get back here so you can begin servicing the village, as you promised.
Of course.
And,
But
how is this company of yours coming?
It is coming along quite excellent, my lord. I am almost ready to open up shop.
Almost ready. You've been here almost a month, haven't you?
It takes a long while to get supplies back and forth, my lord. Apologies. It will be no time at all now. But this interruption is going to delay things, truth be told.
He frowns. He says, well, take the opportunity to bring more things back here with you when you come home, then.
And he nods. He's like, my lord, I do not need to be on the road quite yet. This will still cause a problem for us. I would wish to stay here a while longer before I travel back to Philton.
And he says, what reason could you possibly have? Are you ill?
Oh no, my lord, I am healthy as a horse. But I need to open this store for your people, and for you, my lord. Unless you wish me to delay longer, of course.
He says to the two, he says, how urgent is this matter? You can see you're interrupting my prosperity. And they said, well, we know what the captain told us, my lord. They're to come with all, what's the word he used? And the other one said, post haste, I think it was. Yeah, with post haste, whatever that is, it sounded like it means now. Well, Otto.
I do not know, my lord. You wish to be beholden to the captain of the guard of Philton?
I don't want any trouble from the town. How many days do you require?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
What is the guard captain's name? Because he's the guy I was buying the shot and stuff off of, right?
Yes, that is correct. His name is Farnham, rather, Captain Farnham.
Well, it would take 2 days there and 2 days back, and well, whatever long it takes to deal with this business, I don't believe. What did the captain tell you the business was, young man?
I don't know rightly, but there's been some trouble in the town.
What sort of trouble?
They look at each other, and the one says, there's been a couple of bodies found.
Bodies? Well, I can't say I would know anything about bodies being found. This sounds very silly. What is the captain's name again, you said, boys, that sent you?
Captain Farnham, sir.
Hmm.
And the other says, he ain't no sir. You don't have to call him sir.
I suppose we could leave later tonight if it suits you.
That would be much obliged. We need to get back as soon as we can.
Well then, my lord, excuse me for these men wasting your time on our account.
Just bring more goods.
Of course, my lord.
You promised me prosperity.
Oh, you will have it.
God knows my dimwit of a son here needs every advantage I can leave him when I finally pass on from this disgusting world.
Otto likes this guy.
Yeah, I'm digging him.
Yeah,
Are
good.
you going to ask him?
No, good.
If you were going to ask him if you wanted anything specific, if not, I'm going to step forward.
No, you can. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Rekkr, after eyeing the guys and listening to all that, and he's talking about bringing prosperity and all this, said, begging my lord's pardon, would there be anything by chance that you would like us to bring you personally from town? As long as we could afford it, that is.
He says, well, can you forge a good blade?
I know my way around steel.
And he again kind of raps his son on the side of the face, and he says, this dolt here needs a proper weapon. Can't
Thinking
exactly
in my head, maybe I'll make him a too. And a proper weapon he shall have.
Good. Can you teach him as well?
Sadly, I know a lot about that.
Maybe you'll have better luck with him than I did.
If he is willing, I will teach him what I know.
You can see the sun just kind of is turning red, and he's just like looking down into his bowl.
Well, if he makes eye contact with me, I'm going to give him that sympathetic look, like it's okay, dude.
No, he doesn't look at you. He's just looking down. You can see he's thoroughly embarrassed.
Yeah.
And he says, and if you want to surprise me with something for me, I wouldn't turn it down.
Very well, then.
Of course, my lord, we're only here at your service and the service of the one true God. He bows.
He just kind of grunts, and then tears off a crust of bread and sops it in his bowl, and then gums it with. He's only got a few teeth left in his mouth.
Otto looks to the guards and he says, I'll meet you, let's say, at the tavern before dusk.
Does it please you? And they just kind of nod. Fine, we should get some eats there. Got some time.
I'll clasp with one hand around each of their shoulders, all friendly, like, let's get some food in your bellies.
Sounds good. All right. So, so they grab their spears and head out with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna coax, hopefully Rekkr with us, but definitely Reinhold back to the house to plot what we're gonna do here.
All right. These are foot soldiers. They're my element. I want to hang with them. See if we can get some information out of them.
Yeah, they'll come with you and go to the tavern to get in. And on their way there, they grumble about his lordship's lack of hospitality. He didn't offer us a damn thing to eat. We traveled 2 days to get here.
Well, if I have the coin, I will allow me to remedy that. He has other worries on his plate.
That's very decent of you.
It's the least I can do for fellow brothers in arms.
Oh, you're a soldier.
Of sorts, yeah. I traveled the lands of the Brotland.
My, you're far from home. Isn't that way down there, the other end of the Empire?
Aye. Much blood on my blade. Decided to settle down for a while.
Ah, do tell.
Tell him about some of the exploits of the Mercenaries Guild and order a little heavy on the mead.
Okay, yep. Oh, they'll eat and drink whatever you put in front of them.
Definitely. Be like, if they get to a decent point, then I'll start asking questions. So we have to go before your captain, eh? Did he sound like he needed our services, or he wanted to question us?
Couldn't rightly say. But I can tell you the captain seemed right stumped about this whole thing.
Hopefully we have the answers he's looking for.
Yeah, hope so.
The steward's good, no?
Interrupting our peace and quiet. We have to patrol the city at night now. Didn't used to have to do that.
Why was that?
Well, on account of the 2 dead bodies we found, and even the small folk are complaining that some of the people are missing.
Where did you find the bodies? In the middle of town?
Oh, well, one of them was out back behind the stables. The other one was just right out in the middle of the square, actually, just lying there. Found him in the middle of the morning, or early in the morning.
Darren, just to refresh my memory, we didn't kill anybody in town, did we?
Oh no,
we were in a cave.
Yeah.
You didn't kill anybody.
We just killed a bunch of dudes inside an old church.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the young dude, though. The young dude that you knew that we let go.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have he was like Martin. He was working for the Simon dude or whatever, the old man that bought your shop.
Yeah.
Okay. So these men you found, did they look the cutthroat type?
Well, they was none too important people. One of them was just a day laborer.
No.
The other one was a woman.
A woman?
Respectable woman.
Kind of slays a woman.
Exactly. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, pound my fist on the table. I go, nay, I would not stand for this. If I can help the captain, I will.
That'd be much appreciated. And the poor bloke had his whole intestines out. It was disgusting.
Yeah. So was it done?
I and the woman too. Her neck was cut right open.
The two, did they know one another?
Don't think so. Never heard the captain say nothing about that.
Could have been a secret lovers' quarrel.
The one guy kind of scratches his head and I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's no telling these days. But I will not spoil your appetite. You eat and drink up. I will make sure the other two come. We will get to the bottom of this. Yawn and stretch and flex my big arms.
Oh yeah, they're enjoying this food on your tab here. And in fact, they thank you a couple times.
Speak nothing of it. I'd watch your back, you'll watch ours.
All right. So what are Otto and Reinhold discussing?
Yeah, Otto looks at Reinhold as they're walking. He's like, this can only be poor for us.
Perhaps. But you can't rightly refuse the Lord, can you?
No. I had thought about trying to delay it, but it wouldn't matter in the end. We would have to deal with this at some point. I expected as Hans Salzman somehow sticking his nose into our business. Perhaps trying to frame us for something.
Maybe. You could always send me in your stead if you wish to stay here.
No. No. Hans Salzman might... It might be he or I, eventually. And I plan it to be he. I won't be bullied any longer. Not by that fool.
Agreed.
Well then, let's prepare ourselves, but if something would happen and we do believe we'll be taken, I want you to flee. There's no reason for you to be captured along with me.
I would not let you be captured.
He kind of chuckles and he's like, Super, you think you are invincible now, do you, with your little tricks?
You've seen nothing yet.
Well, perhaps we will, if we are unfortunate.
Well, fortunate, depending on your point of view, Father.
Well, if you're looking to kill everyone in Philton, then by all means. Let me sell the house first. And he kind of
practical mind.
yeah, he smiles and kind of claps you on the shoulder and walks towards the house to get ready.
Relationship, it's complicated.
I'm a good father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm practicing my parenting skills here.
Excellent. You're a most promising student. I guess better to practice on that. No. Yeah.
I hope this isn't how you thought you'd get here. Oh, shit. Oh.
All right. It doesn't take you too long to gather your things. Anything special you're bringing?
My gun.
Mm-hmm.
My walking stick / staff.
I mean, we might as well bring a cart, number one, so I can ride in it, number two, in case we do buy something.
And number 3, so you can make me pull the cart.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you own mules?
Well, I'll talk the guards into doing it, don't worry.
Yeah, good luck. Those guys seem very enthused to be here.
I just picture him sitting in the cart going, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And everybody else just walks off.
Yeah.
Hire some daytailers from here and make them do it. See if you can get Dylan to do it and just wave the pistol around.
I'll sell him something. Sell him a rock on the road. Friendship rock or something.
A friendship rock. If you rub it continually for 12 hours, gold will come out of it. All right. If you're all ready.
Yeah.
Yep. The guards are truly well filled, and yes, Rekkr, you and the guards now seem to be good buddies now.
Cool.
And when it's time to go, they're They seem kind of disappointed that you're ready to go. But
Yeah, imagine.
duty's duty, and so they and in the end they bought you a couple rounds of drinks too, just to
Cool.
pay back. And then they're ready to go. So who's pulling the cart?
I mean,
I'm
Otto.
gonna assume that Otto failed to convince them to pull the cart, so it'd probably end up being me.
Depends on what he's how he's trying to get them to do it. They're certainly not inclined to do it.
We don't have to bring the cart to you. I'm not set on that necessarily.
You would have to come up with a reason for the cart.
Yeah.
Well, he did say that he wanted us to bring some things back, but then they could just be things we can pocket and carry around in packs. He didn't actually say that we need to bring a bunch of stuff, and I think that Otto is just full of shit trying to buy time. He can open the shop whenever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely.
Yeah, we don't need to bring
it because you want everything to be perfect. You want to make just the right impression.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're ready to head off, and unless there's anything further, you'll head off. You get a couple of curious looks from people in the village, with these two out-of-towners, but no one really says anything to you. When you were in the tavern, certainly you got lots of looks, Rekkr, of just curious looks, but it's like you're these three soldiers, and they all seem too timid to come over and interrupt or anything, so you didn't get interrupted. All right. So you guys head north along the road, traveling a fair amount into the night, and then they kind of want to stop, make a little camp, rest. Do you want to do or say anything on this journey?
I don't think I really have anything to say to them or anyone else.
I'm just gonna read in my spare time. I'll probably prepare the meals so no one else has to
complain a lot.
Yep. They very quickly get used to Reinhold being kind of the camp woman with cooks and all the stuff that they don't want to do.
Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
You trained me so well.
I'll definitely try to bring up why we're going here in conversation. Once we get going, off to a distance, it looks like your friend, the captain, is having a bit of trouble. Turns out there's people in town being killed. There was a woman and some kind of day laborer found with their throats slit and their guts disemboweled.
A day laborer? I know a few day laborers. What was his name?
Martin?
Martin, that is unfortunate. And who was the woman?
The one looks at her and he says, "Well, you kind of knew her, didn't you?" He goes, "Yeah, Charlotte was her name, Charlotte Geezer."
I don't know her.
No. Well, You've heard the name. She's like she's an unwed daughter, kind of a spinster daughter, of one of the tanners in town. You've only very, very indirectly heard of her. You've probably seen her once or twice. She was kind of homely and didn't have, her father's not very wealthy, so she was unwed.
I told our two friends here I will not abide when a woman is slain. I have vowed to help the captain as much as possible. I pray you do the same.
Of course. Vile murders should never go unpunished. I don't know what I can do about it, but I'm most willing to aid in whatever way I can.
He says, well, I'm sure the captain will be glad to hear of it. He seems quite at wit's end. Never seen him so irritated.
Well then.
No, that's it.
Yeah. Otto doesn't have much small talk for these guys. He's ready to move on.
Yeah. He's not his class of people anyway.
Mm-mm. They don't have any money to spend.
Yeah. Yes, but you have no interest in socializing, and yes, they don't look like they have a lot of liquidity. So, yeah. So you pass along. It takes you a couple days. They're not pushing the pace too incredibly hard. They're willing to kind of take what pace you make. But eventually, by the following, the next, let's see, it would be getting on towards late the next a day after that you arrive in Philton. And they say, I assume you've got no objections to going to the captain straight away.
I suppose not.
All right. So, yeah, they nod to the guards at the gate, and they all kind of nod at each other and just sort of let you in without any fanfare. You can see as you come in that there's just an air over the town as the sun is going down of just, you see people kind of hurrying home as it's starting to get dusk, which is not something you've seen before here. People generally felt pretty safe outside their homes, but you can see people just kind of a little nervous and rushing along.
Mm-hmm. I would stop in at the old house and peek inside real quick as we're... One moment.
Yep.
Has anything changed or anything in there?
You can make a perception check.
Okay.
And I would chat up the guards outside and ask them, like, to describe the murders in detail.
No boons or banes?
Nope, just normal. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's fine. You did it. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
You look through the window, and to your great dismay, probably, it looks like people have been in your house. There were a few things that had been left. Furniture that was too big to transport that you just thought maybe you'd sell at some point and all that. And one big sort of chest that you were proud of in the front for display, that's been broken up and parts of it taken.
He frowns but doesn't say anything and steps back out and shakes his head at Reinhold. Thievery. Common thievery. Thugs.
What did you expect when you left the things here?
Well, I suppose I should have realized what Philton had become. I mean, look, murders on the streets, thieving houses. Terrible. Let's go see the guard captain. I wish to put in a complaint immediately.
All right. They lead you over, and it is over here is where if you remember, where the where the guard quarters are, and they take you inside, and you can see the little guardhouse is kind of busy. They're organizing a patrol to go out to start as the sun's going down, and your two new friends just kind of say, why don't you just take a seat at the table there? And they ask, is the captain about? And the one says, he stepped out. He'll be back soon. So
Otto nods and sits down.
Okay. The two guys, incidentally, Henkel and Dross are their names. Henkel says, get you anything to drink while you're waiting?
No, thank you, lads.
He was actually talking to Rekkr.
Sorry. I just have some water.
Don't worry.
Then wink at him like, yeah.
Oh yeah. And then he laughs and he says, "Sure." And he goes off. He brings a little wooden mug of ale for each of you.
Well, I'll sip it. Many thanks.
I'm just trying to chat up guards about the murders, see if I can collect information about it.
Okay. Why don't you try a let's see, how about a will check for me, please? With I'll give you a boon on that, because I think they'd be talkative about it. Okay. Yeah, what you find out is that both there haven't been any murder. The last murder was 5 days ago. And that was the woman, Charlotte. But there had been an increasing number recently, even in the last couple of days, they've heard of people from the really poor little parts of town complaining that neighbors are missing, and it's not really certain who or how many exactly, but there are rumors of people missing now. The two people that died were found. They were almost certainly murdered in the middle of the night, and their corpses were found the next morning. There didn't seem to be any attempt to hide the corpses.
All right. When
both of them were somewhat dismembered.
When was the first murder?
The first murder was about 10 days ago.
And does that correlate with us and the bandits?
Just about, yes.
People have been missing. Is there like any signs of forced entry or anything like that?
No. It does not appear. No one has complained of break-ins. There hasn't been like any new rash of thefts or anything. And as far as the guards say, they can't. No one has been able to figure out any connection between the two, like why anybody would want to kill these two people.
Mm-hmm. They don't have anything in common at all.
So horrible away, yeah.
Does the town guard patrol outside? Where
outside
Otto,
the walls?
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
I was wondering if there's rumors coming from that community out there that Otto had people start spying. And the hell, that was the ones where I was feeding the kids too.
Yep. The guards you talk to aren't sure. Again, they say, everybody's now got a theory. Everybody's saying, some, and he said we spent like 2 days looking for this one person, and it turned out he was just passed out drunk. And he was fine after all. But so they're a little unsure who to believe, and yeah, they don't really trouble themselves too much with Shantytown. So they haven't really. They said we don't really have much to do with them. They keep to themselves. We don't really care much what they do, as long as they don't cause any trouble inside the walls. So you wait for a little bit, and the captain does return, and he seems a little distracted, but when he sees you, he says, "Ah, good. Those dunderheads did their job finally." And he says, "I'll be right with you." And he exchanges a few words with some of the guards, and seems like he's making sure they know that he'll be checking up on them. No slouching, no dozing. He says, "My reputation's at stake here. And if I suffer, you suffer." And he just kind of kicks the one guy out the door, and they get started on their patrol. And he comes over and takes a seat at the table with the three of you. "Gentlemen, I'm very glad that you showed up when you did."
Yes, Captain, anything I can do for you? What is the problem? I've heard you've had some issues in town. How can we be of a service?
"Well, I was hoping maybe you knew something about one of these two people. I've been told that Martin, one of them, used to work for you."
Yes, he did, and it's unfortunate. He was a nice lad. He helped loading things and other menial tasks. Kind of shrugs.
Yes. Menial tasks. Did he ever do any other kind of work for you?
Not that I recall. Reinhold, do you remember anything?
Nothing. All I remember is him moving things, picking things up, putting them down.
Yes, a strong back.
Cleaning areas.
When's the last time you saw him?
I suppose it was when we last left Philton. I think I passed him on the street, talked to him. Don't really remember, honestly.
Sure you didn't have any dealings with him during your last visit to town? I remember when you came and bought some shot from me.
Dealings? Don't recall any dealings. Did we have him pack up the cart, Reinhold? Am I misremembering?
I don't recall. I was here, so I doubt it.
Yes, thrifty.
Well, that's just kind of interesting because I was told that the day before he died, he had mentioned your name.
In what context?
Well, that's the interesting thing. I was hoping you could tell me.
Sir, I'm quite sure I could not. Perhaps he was looking for a job, and knowing that I needed to clear out my house, I would have gladly hired him if Reinhold wasn't here.
Either of you other two happen to remember seeing him or having words with?
Perhaps in passing at the market, but I was distracted that day.
And you, I understand your name's Rekkr?
Yeah, that is me.
What was your relationship to Martin?
I had no relationship with this Martin. I am only recently under his hire.
I see. Well, that's very interesting because he also seemed to have mentioned you two by name.
Perhaps you should bring this person here that is doing all the talking. We could all sit down and have a chat.
Perhaps. In any case, I am disappointed. I had hoped you would be able to shed some light on this.
I might still be able to, despite we didn't help you the way you expected us.
Oh?
I've been asking around about the murders. There doesn't seem to be much of a connection between the two people, but there might be a connection in the timeline. Your first murder was 10 days ago. Your second murder was 5 days ago.
Yes.
Now, if that continues to be the case, there'd be another murder tonight.
Interesting. Good at maths, are you?
Counting by 5 is fairly simple for me.
I see.
Otto says, well, if there's going to be another murder tonight, I think we should be on our way.
Is this the stables?
Yes.
And this is town square?
Yes.
Maybe it'll be here.
So don't be so hasty, Otto. Your boy has given me an idea here.
Good. I'm glad we could help.
If indeed there's to be another murder tonight, if you're safely locked away and there is a murder, that scratches you off my list.
Oh,
And
sir.
I'll be honest with you, Otto. I'm not so certain you're not involved in this matter.
Oh, Captain Farnham, the Lord in Shadowshade can attest to our whereabouts for the last week.
Can he?
Aye. I was there preparing my shop. There are perhaps a half dozen or a dozen witnesses that saw us in town there. I am not all so fast to run back and forth from Philton.
I see. Well, you just have to pass a night in safety. And if all goes well, I should say if all goes poorly, it goes well for you, doesn't it?
Yes, but I'm sorry, Captain. I'm not quite convinced your men can keep anyone safe.
I would not like to waste their time. No need to put you caged like an animal. I'll stay here with you if you wish.
Yes, would you like our protection?
Oh, no. I'm not in need of your protection. I just want answers.
I wished I had answers for you, Captain, but going around eviscerating people is not quite my, interests.
I'll tell you what, if you're so keen to help, pass the night here, and if there is another murder, I'll enlist your aid. I'll even hire you.
I myself would rather spend the days with your troops, patrolling the streets. I do not look kindly upon this.
No, I'm afraid that wouldn't do.
Yes, Rekkr, you should stay by my side. I wonder if the captain has called me back for some nefarious purposes. I know that there are some people who wish to see my empire crumble even further in Philton. Maybe Gary Kell or some other fool.
The captain laughs and he says, "Your empire? Are you hiding one you haven't told me about?"
Yes, well, are you hiding a guard captain nearby that I should speak to?
Rubbing my head.
He rises and he says, he calls over one of the men. He says, "Jailer, these three will be spending the night with us. Put them in our most comfortable cells, of course. They're not criminals, not yet, anyway."
If I would ask for Heckle and Jekyll, whatever their two names were. Could you assign them to guard duty, please?
Henkel and Dross.
Yes, I've had time around them. I would feel comfortable being locked in a cage around someone I trust.
The captain shrugs and he says, if they don't mind pulling, I was going to give them the night off after their long walk, but if they're keen on it, I see no reason not to let them.
I would ask the captain to please insist that they would. Tell them that when all this is over and our innocence put behind us, I would buy them around at the tavern.
As you wish.
I hope Gary Kell is paying you well, Captain, for this humiliation.
I don't answer to Gary Kell, he says. I answer to the mayor.
The mayor told you to bring Otto Lightdorf from Shadowshade on some word of some mysterious ghost that put falsehoods in your ear, then?
He says, this is my investigation, right, Otto.
Yes.
Don't insult me any further.
You insult me. You put me in a jail cell for no reason, without cause.
Well, it will be partly for your own protection and partly to prove your innocence.
Sir,
seems like a brilliant notion to me. I don't see why you object so strenuously.
I object because...
Unless you're worried about something.
I'm worried about my protection, good sir.
From whom? You'll be perfectly safe in here.
Anyone. It seems quite the coincidence that we are called back on the day that my son has deduced there were likely to be a murder.
No time for your theories. I'm not interested in your personal life, Otto.
Then, Captain, at least leave us armed in our cell. What can we do?
Good heavens.
We are not criminals. You said it yourself. We are being protected. So let us protect ourselves as well.
Fine. But that pistol of yours, you leave that here.
Oh no, sir. This is my protection.
I'll not have you decide to shoot one of my guards through the bars.
Oh, please. If I shot someone through the bars, I would be deader than dead. In no time flat. I am not about to commit suicide, sir.
He just waves his hand. Says, as you wish.
I'll go to the cell if he's going to watch. When I go into the cell, I'm going to stop, rise to my full height, and look at the captain. I don't care what rank he is or who.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give him that cold, hard stare. And I'll just go, I'll do what you ask, but just know this. Someone dies tonight. I was among the first to offer my hand in helping you prevent it.
Duly noted.
Otto kind of just gives the guy a scowl and walks into the cell.
Alright. Henkel and Dross are not thrilled, but they have agreed to pool night duty. They'll switch off watch to watch over you guys. And they'll make sure that you get some decent food.
I'll even talk to him. I say, I know you're doing your job, but I would ask if this is some kind of setup amongst rivals. Wedge something on the door to make sure no one gets in, and sleep with your backs to the wall, no windows.
No, the one guy shrugs. He says, I don't think there's anything for you to worry about. I haven't heard of any foul play.
This all smells fishy to me.
It does as me as well, Rekkr. One of Hans Salzman or one of his friends will be coming through that door quite soon, I assume.
And if on cue... let's see. I will I think this should be completely black to you at the moment. I'm going to have to copy you onto here.
It's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, I got no qualms telling them if they want to take turns napping, they can either. So I'll cause them no harm. I just want to make sure they don't get killed in their sleep.
All right. You should be able to see yourselves now. And hold on, you've been given little candles in your cells, so you can read by them. Reinhold, you have your books in there.
Book in my bucket.
Yep. And there's your buddy. That's Henkel. And he's gonna take the first watch of the night. And he spends most of his time. He just kind of sits on a stool, and he outside Rekkr's cell so he can talk to Rekkr. And it's not long after things have kind of settled down that the door opens, and the captain is standing there, and there's a man at his side who says, "I thank you very kindly, Captain. I shan't be long." And Otto, you recognize the voice as Mr. Salzman.
Of course.
Indeed. Just remind you all what he looks like there. And he kind of he nods to the boy, and he says, "Do you mind if I borrow your stool for a few minutes?" And he says, "I suppose that would be all right." No buckets. Sure, there are buckets. He kind of takes the stool, and he says, "Which one of these fine cells is holding Mr. Otto Lietdorf?" And he says, "Oh, Otto's down at the end there."
I'm down here, Salzman. Let's get this over with.
Yes, let's. He comes and he sets his stool down, and he says, Otto, why has it taken this long for us to have a meeting?"
I'm a busy man, Hans. If you didn't notice, I am left Philton.
I did notice that, yes, you never said a word to me.
Oh,
I thought
I'm
we
sorry.
were friends, Otto. I thought we were more than just associates.
I've been a busy man, Hans. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings.
You also failed to arrive for dinner. I had planned a special dinner for us.
Oh, I'm sure you did. So...
Gran spent 2 hours working on dinner, and you did not show. She was very disappointed.
I'm sorry. Give her my regards and my apologies.
I will do that. So, Otto, what is the real reason you have been avoiding me?
I did not know I was avoiding you. Here I am.
You have been
He just stares at him.
He says, I had great hopes for you.
What were your hopes for me, Hans?
That you would prove to be a wise man, and not a fool, not a money grubber, but one who learned from his life experiences, learned from his mistakes.
I did not know I made any mistakes. It's the way forward.
You
Forget the
made
past.
You made no mistakes, did you?
I'd made one mistake.
What was that?
That would be to, well, let a supposed friend convince me to do something I ought not have.
Oh, this friend did not convince you to do anything, Otto. I think rather you convinced yourself to do something you ought not have done.
Perhaps.
Is that not so?
Perhaps it is so. I believe that... What are you going to do now? Kill me? Eviscerate some poor
Otto.
person in the streets?
There's no need to kill you, Otto. I feel sorry for you.
Oh.
And though you clearly do not consider me a friend, I had considered you a friend once. There are some who think you should pay for abandoning us. But I have convinced them that you will be no trouble. I was not incorrect, was I?
That I will be no trouble.
That you have no intention of causing our friends trouble.
Of course. I only wish to see my estate here sold and, well, everything else is I've given for a pittance of what it's worth. I think you know.
Yes, Otto. Why did you leave town so suddenly? What were you running from?
I think you quite know.
I have an inkling, but only you know the detail.
You killed my wife.
I did no such thing, sir. If your wife died, it was you who killed her, not me.
I was there. I did not kill her.
Did not your actions kill her, Otto?
He looks at him kind of sidelong and he's like, I think not.
You are truly a lost person, unwilling to see the truth. You see, that is what I had hoped, Otto, that you'd become a man I could respect, that I could call brother and be proud of calling a brother. One who would be willing to face the end with eyes wide open, not as a coward, but as one who sees the truth and embraces it because he is a man and not a mouse.
The end? Am I going to come to a grisly end tonight, Hans?
I cannot say if you will come to a grisly end at any night, but there will be an end soon for all.
Oh,
You included.
I have heard this story. I am not so foolish as you might think. Is it called the Devourer? Is that what you speak of?
The Devourer? I do not speak of a Devourer.
And what do you speak of?
Oh. If I called you brother, I could tell you of these things, but you are not my brother, Otto. You are a disappointment.
Are you here to lecture me some more?
I am here to say goodbye, and to assure you that you have nothing to fear from me, and to share with you that I have secured your safety.
Why do such a thing if I am such a disappointment? What do you want to hear? That I killed my wife from experimenting with those books? Is that what you want to hear? Is that what you need to hear?
I wanted to see what kind of man you were now, if you had learned anything.
Oh yes, I have learned that clandestine cults are a fool's gold. And you, sir, are a member of a fool's pact with people worshipping what? Pagan rites, rituals? What does it mean? Nothing. We only have what we have, blood and guts.
Well, he stands up. I will leave you to your blood and guts, then, Otto, and your money grubbing. I wish you all fortune, though I think you will find no satisfaction in it.
Before you go, do me this one boon, perhaps. You say that my wife was killed, but obviously not by my hand. Who did it?
I think not who but what, Otto.
What? He's like that. Not like in not quipping or anything. He's like really asking, like, what do you mean?
He said, "Did you truly think that a scroll with a title so ridiculous as right to increase prosperity was truly a real thing? Did you believe it? You're the fool, Otto. That scroll was left there for you as a test, and you failed. I'd hoped you would be smarter. No, you brought some terror down on yourself. No one knows what that will bring, but it is always doomed to the one who reads it."
So you set me up then?
I gave you rope, Otto. You hung yourself with it. I'm sorry for that. I misjudged you. All of us must go through that. Unfortunately, you failed.
Hold
And
on,
unfortunate for your wife as well, and for your poor son here, who now has no mother.
Oh
Kind
shit!
of looks at Otto through the, or not Reinhold through the bars, and he says,
Yeah, I'm thinking. Fuck. All right.
oh yeah, you guys just have bars. You guys hear the whole conversation. He's not hiding it.
He's like, well, I thank you for your visit, and I thank you for your protection. And, oh God. Otto, like, walks up to the bars on the, first, okay, so Otto has his pistol kind of, like, down by his side.
In view?
Well, not on purposely in view, kind of behind his leg.
Yep, sure.
And he walks up to the bars and kind of like reaches out with his left hand to shake it. One final gesture of goodwill.
Let's see. He looks at you curiously for a moment and then puts his left hand out to take it.
So he like takes his hand and shakes it.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're shaking it, he brings his pistol up, tries to put it to his head, and pulls the trigger.
My goodness.
I was thinking about it, but man, the shit he was saying. Yeah.
Let's see. He sees in time that you're pulling up a pistol, and so he is going to dodge your shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I will let you take the shot with one bane.
Can I spend fortunes on it? Fortune spins?
Sure.
So I will spend. Can I just spend one at a time, or?
I believe you can. I have to actually honestly remind myself about that because it's been too long. What can you do here? This is the problem when you have too many systems in your head.
Mm-hmm.
They all start to run together. So you can spend it to turn a failure into a success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you can spend it to turn a die 6 roll into a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that goes with like when it's your about to die roll.
Yeah, and I can
and
add 2 boons when another player's okay. So
yes.
Okay. So all right. So could I do like if I shot him and missed and
Yep.
okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna try to shoot him, and then if I miss, I'll turn it into a success.
Okay.
And I have 1 bane.
Right, because he sees it in time to
Yep.
try to jump out of the way as you're bringing it up to him. That's a hit.
And then I'll change that 1 to a 6 with another fortune for rolling the damage.
Okay, so that becomes an 11. All right. The bullet hits him in the head, but not square on. It takes like a chunk out of the side of his head, and he goes reeling down these steps. He like stumbles down the steps.
Mm-hmm. So I did a total of 13 damage, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, and the guard just kind of goes, "What the hell?"
I step back away from
rushes down to the end here. And what are you two guys doing?
I was already listening intently to this conversation.
Yeah, you didn't see that. You couldn't have heard that coming. All of a sudden, there's just a shot, and this guy goes flying back.
I run to the bars. I'm trying to peek through the bars to see what happened.
Yeah, I'm pressing up, trying to squeeze my view through the bars too, going, Otto, what the hell have you done?
And the guard rushes over, and he says, "What the hell?" And
he admitted to killing my wife.
He looks momentarily completely confused, and like he can't decide if he should run back or go down the steps, and he says, "Are you all right down there?" And there's no answer.
Did he give me a do I have all my stuff to reload my pistol or no?
Sure.
I begin reloading.
He sees you reloading, and he just like tears out of here. And you can see him just go barreling through that door, and he starts screaming, "One of the prisoners has gone crazy, and he's got a gun."
Father, what the hell are you doing?
He's like, "I'm sorry, Reinhold. You heard all that. It's all true.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if I die, then it is my fate. But this bastard, I'm taking him with me. And I'm going to try to shoot the lock off the door, or shoot the... I don't know how it's locked, if it's locked like with a chain, or...
Yeah, it's like a metal casing with like a
Mhm.
little keyhole in it.
Yeah, I tried to shoot the casing off.
Okay. All right. Make a shot with no boons or banes. If you succeed, you've hit a mechanism in there and could very well have blasted it. Otherwise, you miss the key mechanism inside
Okay.
there. If you don't really know that much about lock.
Hmm.
Ooh, all right.
Fucking door off.
Damn. Yeah, that's a critical. Okay, so you blast the lock, and in fact, the force of the bullet and all, the door kind of swings open under the blast.
Yeah. He goes straight down for Salzman.
Okay.
Father, you fool! And I guess I'm gonna. I mean, we're it's like we're prison breaking. So, shit. What do I do here?
So you're going down the
Mhm.
steps there.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see him probably at the foot of the steps there.
Is he alive? Dead?
Are you going right up to him?
No, I'm gonna reload my pistol.
Okay. Would you be able to bolt this door?
Yeah, magic dart or something.
Possibly. You can try it.
I don't want to die in a dirty, sweaty prison cell, so I'm going full brunt.
Yeah, sorry to kind of go off the rails here, but
Unconventional.
Unconventional here. Oh shit. I have to roll for that, don't I?
You should have been able to do it off your character. You should have a magic dart.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, hold on.
Okay, yeah, and it'll actually do the stuff for you.
I'm dumb. That's okay.
No, it's okay. That's off the sheet. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. That was maximum damage. Yeah, I'm gonna say so. Make a perception check, and if your perception is successful, then you hit it right where you would think you should. Oh yeah. So yeah, you hit the mechanism, and it you kind of shatter it. So yeah. And you can hear a commotion upstairs above you. You hear like heavy footsteps, many of them kind of on the wooden ceiling above you.
Rekkr, I'm coming to get you out.
That's what I was trying to say is I was trying to bust my way out anyway. I didn't want to die in a prison cell.
Okay. What were you gonna do?
Try to look at the bars, find a weak spot, and just bust my way out.
All right. Good luck with that.
He's a man.
You try a strength with 3 banes.
you can use a fortune if you fail to make it successful, regardless,
Yeah,
right?
that doesn't mean you necessarily blast it,
Yeah.
but it means you'll weaken it at
And
least.
how often
I mean,
are
these-
fortune replenished?
Every session. Or actually, no. Is it? I gotta remember. No, you get 1 fortune every time you level. So these are not quickly replaced. These are rather.
Yeah, my first action would just be regular testing it if I could do it normally. So strength with 2 banes.
Yep.
3 banes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Roll20 does not like all this dynamic stuff. It's so laggy.
You got
Oh, the lighting. Yeah.
power through.
Yeah, and probably it works really good.
Hey, that's really bad.
I tore my arm like I didn't realize.
Yeah. That wasn't a fumble, but it was bad. So yeah, you kind of you bruise yourself and take one little point of damage there. I'll throw it on you. Bruise your shoulder as you're trying to bust your way out. Reinhold, you have reloaded at the top of the stairs, and you can see Salzman kind of. You heard him kind of moan a little bit, and you can see him kind of half sit up a little bit.
Yeah, and Otto like basically points down at him and says, "Am I a man enough now for you, Hans?"
And he says, "It will avail you, Otto."
"It will give me pleasure. What else is there now?" Pull the trigger.
Okay. Go ahead, one boon.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one hits him square in the head this time, like in the forehead. He's not dodging or anything, and there's blood splattered against the back wall, and he just goes down.
Yeah, I kind of. Am I in the basement or?
You've never been down here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is below the floor you were.
Yeah. I guess I'll run back upstairs at this point. Actually, he just basically turns and kind of walks kind of slowly back up the stairs, kind of.
Okay.
I'll try to magic dart the lock on Rekkr's door since I see he's straggling a bit with it.
Okay. Make a perception with a boon this time, because it worked last time. Yep. Right on the right spot. So yes, the door is blasted, and you can open the door. And you can definitely hear a number of men. There's a little bit of confusion, it sounds like, up there, but you can tell it's a little less confused than it was a moment ago.
And is Otto back up the stairs?
No, in fact, this is what you hear the shot ring out as you blast through the cell door.
Rekkr, come on, we need to leave. My father's going mad.
Rekkr is totally confused. He's heard the conversation, understands why he would kill the man, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be hunted down like a criminal, especially since he didn't pull the trigger. He will step out into the hallway, get into a defensive posture with sword and shield, and he protect if y'all want down the opposite way and look for a way out, but that whole thing is somebody else dies unless they need to.
All right, I missed a little part about where you said you're stepping out and doing what?
I'm going defensive. I'm basically giving them a chance to go further away from the people coming from upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anybody else to die unless they have to.
Okay.
So I'm basically like going, grab your father, figured out what we're doing, and stand there and just wait for people to come down the stairs.
Okay.
All right. I would run back.
Yeah, I'm standing at the top of the stairs, just turning around and walking up now.
Okay. Yeah, you see your father, and it looks like he's just kind of, would you say, in sort of a trance or
daze, kind of a daze, yeah.
Yeah.
Like super adrenaline dump, like emotions, all that kind of crap, right?
What have you done, Father? What have you done?
And Rekkr, you can see a couple of guys already heading down the stairs. With Henkel in the lead. And Henkel sees you standing there, and you can see this kind of dismayed look on his face.
Believe me, brother, I don't want no trouble. I'm trying to make sense of all this hell.
What's going on in there? And the men are coming down now.
I warn you, you best stay there. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I'm trying to make sure everything's taken care of.
They've got their spears. They're in various states of dress. They're not wearing. Only Henkel's wearing armor. The other guys are kind of in their nightshirts and hat with their spears. One of them has grabbed a helmet and put it on, but the rest of them are just sort of.
You sure it's a helmet?
Yeah, it may have been it might have been a bedpan. Who knows? Yeah, he's not. He hasn't really. He's a little groggy. He didn't know what was going on here. And yeah, the rest of them are just kind of stumbling down the stairs, but they're kind of waking up with adrenaline. They're kind of like, "What the hell's going on?" And Henkel just. He just says, Rekkr, don't make this worse.
I'm not going to make it no worse than it has to be. Be a good lad. Get the captain. Let the two of these men try to talk it out.
Yes, get the captain. I will give myself over to him for exchange for freedom of these two. They did no ill.
He says to this guy next to him, he goes, "Go get the captain." He goes, "In my bedclothes?" And he goes, "Go get the damn captain." And he kind of goes out and rushes out. And they just kind of stand there.
There's no other ways out, right, that we can see at least.
I mean, you don't know.
I'm gonna check around.
Yeah, Otto pokes Reinhold to go down in the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And try to find another way out.
Sure.
Okay. You go down the stairs and you see Salzman with his brain splattered against the back wall there.
If what my father said was true, then good riddance. I'll step over him and start looking around.
Okay, go ahead.
You guys.
Is this an actual drain pipe thing there?
It is, but it's not. It's soldered. Okay. It's not like something you can just pick up and.
This is a strange question I didn't think I was going to have to ask, but does this town have a working sanitary system they've got set up for aquifers and stuff?
Not really. This is probably just a pit to dump shit in. If they don't, it's a little, it's dark down here except for these torches. You can see there are doors along here.
No kind of exits or anything that I can tell?
Yeah, through the doors you can just see they're like little cells.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, other cells. Yeah, doesn't seem to be anything.
I'll go back up.
Alright.
And just go back up to my father and shake my head.
He nods. He's reaches out and put his hand on Reinhold's shoulder, and he's like, "I'm sorry, son." He kind of walks forward.
You did what you had to do.
Oh, Bo wants to watch the game, yeah.
Bo likes to watch.
I'm sorry. Didn't I give Bo a An invite? I thought I gave it to him one before. I'm sorry. Let me give you an invite here real quick, Bo.
Wolf's having issues getting connected, I think you said.
I do that. Okay, I should have sent you one, Bo. Sorry, I didn't even see that for a little while. I've been engrossed in this.
I'm just trying to get us all killed, no problem.
Yeah. He's doing his level best. All right. So yeah, Rekkr's when you come back up, you can see Rekkr standing there, kind of ready for trouble, but the guards out here don't seem to want to give any trouble, and you can see Dross is there now too, from upstairs, and he's like, Rekkr, what the hell?
Now, can you finally hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know if it's the dynamic or what, but it's just everything is just. It's like the game itself too is doing that.
Oh, sorry.
No, basically, just be like I said, I don't want no trouble. It sounds like one man confessed to killing the other man's wife, and he took justice into his own hands.
Bloody hell. So they stand off there, and he says, Hankel calls back there, and he says, you back there, Otto, you should throw your gun out, so we know you're not going to try any more craziness.
Otto nods. Very well. And he walks up next to Rekkr and pitches the gun out.
And Hankel nods and picks it up and puts it in his waistband. And he says, why did you have to go and do that? On my watch.
I'm sorry, lad. The man admitted to killing my wife and Reinhold's mother. I saw no other recourse. He told me to be a man after all.
I'll ignore the like a man part and just go, I would tell me what would you do? I'd have got the pig myself.
But you have to do it here. And the door, you can hear the front door open. And the captain says, all right, where is he? And Hankel points through there. And he says, he gave up his gun, sir. And he hands the captain the gun, and at least you have that sense. And he kind of strides over in front of you, Rekkr. And he says, explain yourself, Otto. I hear you killed a man in cold blood.
Yes, I did. Salzman killed my wife, admitted to it, as we sat here. You should never have brought him.
He speaks the truth.
The captain shakes his head. He says, you leave me no choice but to lock you back up, Otto. You'll have to stand trial for that. You know that.
Aye, these two had nothing to do with it.
We'll see about
Speaks
that.
the truth.
Your guards can speak to that. I shot him through the cell.
Aye, sir, I saw it with my own eyes. He said, well, that's good. Well, these two will be needed as witnesses, too. All three of you back in your cells. Turn out your weapons this time. I was a fool to let you keep them. Made an idiot out of me.
You the one who
my father again.
Good.
So you plan to imprison us?
Of course. Can't let you free now.
And Reinhold would sigh and scratch his head. No, we're leaving.
I'm afraid not, lad. Not until there's been a trial.
You misunderstand, Captain. I'm not asking you. I'm just saying we're leaving.
God.
He shakes his head. He says, "Don't be a fool, boy.
Otto turns to Reinhold and he
Clearly
says,
you love your father, but this is madness."
yeah, he puts a hand on Reinhold's shoulder and he's like, let it go, boy. I've chosen what I've chosen. This was all predetermined when your mother died.
I would shake Otto's hand off my shoulder. Said, no, you know the trial won't go well for you.
I know.
They can't prove anything with a corpse. You'll be imprisoned forever, most like.
Or
Going
hung.
to lose another parent.
Reinhold, you're already wiser than I ever was. Don't be a fool here. We'll all die. And for what? Then Simon wins.
I just would sort of push a bit to the side of Rekkr if I could. Side, Captain.
You're about to try to stride out?
No, I'm standing next to Rekkr and I'm just telling him to step aside.
Oh. He says, "Now, boy, you know I can't do that. Must uphold the law.
The only law is power,
If you are
Captain.
innocent, as you claim, or as I hope you're claiming, then no harm will come to you. Your father will have to pay for his crime in whatever way the court sees fit. Don't make it worse for him or for you."
Captain, the only law is power, and I'm going to educate you on that. And I don't know how this is gonna go.
Oh, God. I give up my gun!
But here we go. So I'm gonna, and I don't know how this would look as far as on my end, but I'm gonna use Earth Spike. And
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I'm gonna use Earth Spike on the captain.
Okay.
This game might be over a lot.
Shakes,
Yeah, it might be over way before March 31st.
Whatever's gonna happen here.
Yeah, I'm making a mercenary reevaluate this whole job description.
Sharp spikes erupt from the ground underneath the captain. Okay, so your will roll versus his agility. Unfortunately, that failed. The attack is already part of it. His agility is higher than a 9.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So these spikes, but this is the first time you've ever done it. And the spikes are not directly under his feet. You haven't had a lot of practice doing this sort of thing. But spikes do erupt, and the captain kind of feels one sort of bump his boot, and he momentarily looks down, and all the others look down, and they're like, "Witchcraft!"
God.
All right.
After that, just look upon me in despair.
Yeah. All right. You, Otto, and Rekkr, you can do something now.
I don't think I have a weapon.
You have your fists.
Yeah. Yeah, Darren, do you want to give Bo like a view?
I did. I let him. He should be able to see through your eyes.
Okay, I'll tell him. Bo, scroll around the page. It's a big map. Yeah, I guess Otto's gonna run down and see if Salzman had anything on him. I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Otto tears down to the bottom floor there. Okay.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Oh my god.
Maybe. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Rekkr.
Rekkr is totally. He doesn't know if he should
Yeah.
stab Otto.
Rekkr gonna do?
Punch Reinhold. He's gonna adopt an age-old battle tactic called CYA.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna basically exclaim, really confused and angrily, he says, "I'll be no party of this nonsense. Out of my way!" And try to barrel through with his shield past the captain. And he'll basically then he'll yell, he'll go, "Heck up and Jack! I says, I advise you to please leave the barracks. I want to shed no blood."
Okay. Well, make an agility check for me. With one boon, because the captain, the spikes have distracted everybody for a moment. So if you pull this off, you'll actually kind of shield bash and slip your way through. Yeah, you barely push the captain with the shield while he's kind of right as he's looking down at the spikes and going, "What's this?" And the men are looking down and going, and kind of, they actually kind of, to your benefit, they all kind of back away instinctively from the spikes, and they're screaming, one's yelling witchcraft, and you just kind of whip out past him, and kind of he staggers for a moment, and you make your way. I'm gonna say even at least up to this guy. So you've sort of squirmed your way through this. And I'll let you try an agility against this guy. No boon though, because he has a moment to kind of see what's going on.
Okay.
And he wasn't quite as distracted by the spears. He was just at the door. Oh no, you actually kind of intimidate him. You got through those guys. He wasn't expecting any trouble. He was just sort of curiously listening to the whole thing. He wasn't even at the ready. So you just kind of, you barrel out and you burst out of the barracks, out of there. So that's what happens to you this round. You kind of pushed your way out of everything. And the captain kind of, it takes him a moment to kind of gather his thoughts. Let's see how he does here. He is okay. He is momentarily completely shocked by this whole thing. He never imagined you would try something like this.
Me neither.
So he isn't even giving any orders. He's dancing around on the floor, afraid that more spikes are gonna come up after him. So he's kind of backed himself into this corner here, and he looks like he's just very nervous. And the other men kind of take their cue from him, and they're not really sure what to do. So they don't actually take any real action this turn. They're ready for trouble now, but they're not going to do anything. So, new round. And now I want to kind of be a little more formal about it. If you recall, you're supposed to decide
long action
simultaneously if you're going to do a short or a long action, and I'll decide for them as well.
Long for me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming any kind of casting is going to be long, so I guess I'll just go with that.
If you're just going to stand there and cast, no.
Oh, I'm just gonna. Cause I'm waiting for Otto to get back.
As long as you only want to take one, as long as you only want to move or take an action, you can do a short action.
Actually, I'll do a short action too, because I'm just gonna search him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do short.
Because
Okay.
if I survive this, I know what I'm gonna do. But okay. It's neither here nor
Okay.
there.
You can make an agility check, Otto, with actually, first of all, make a willpower check.
Okay.
For me. Okay. Your nerves are holding up surprisingly well, having just shot a man twice in the face at point blank range. So you can try an agility check with one boon for me to rifle through his corpse.
Do you guys see that? I didn't see the roll.
don't
It's
see
20.
it yet.
I see it.
Oh,
It's 20.
Okay. You very quickly, your hand comes to a metal hilt, and you can pull out a dagger from his belt.
Okay, I do. Nothing else, like no documents or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, there's no real document. He has a little coin purse.
I would take it.
Yeah, I thought maybe
Old habits die hard.
Oh, but of course, yeah. Forget the coin.
Yeah, he takes the coins and he like shakes it in his face as he like turns.
Might be able to bribe my way out.
Alright, make an intelligence roll to see if you can count by listening to the sound how much you think you're in there.
Nah, he runs up the stairs.
Where was
Yeah.
the fucking coin purse?
Is that not Otto, though?
Amazing.
Oh, yes, I'm coming, my son. Just let me count the coins. All right.
Sonny, I thought it would be more.
Yeah. All right, Reinhold, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna cast Arcane Armor on myself.
Okay. All right.
And
Do bonus to your defense.
and as I do that,
we will remember that.
I just clasp because I'm assuming I have they didn't take my staff away from me because the goddamn walking stick.
No. They
So,
didn't take any of your weapons away, which turns out to have been a stupid thing for the captain to have allowed. But hey, he didn't anticipate this.
No, neither did I.
Neither did I.
I banged the staff on the ground a couple of times, and did you not hear what I said? Get out of my way, or I'll kill all of you.
All right. Make a willpower check for me, please. And I will give you one boon on that, because they saw this little glowing. Well, actually, it's invisible now, so they don't. But your spikes have scared them. That's for sure. Very nice. Okay. So. All right. That's what you do. Rekkr, what are you doing outside? There aren't any guards immediately outside. It's nice and dark out there. Let's go quickly to the map.
Man, I was kind of hoping someone would be chasing out after me.
No one seems to be chasing you at the moment. They're all a little surprised by this whole course of events. So what is your thought here? If you even have one.
I don't want anybody to die. That's just it. If I get out, I'll definitely spin back around and see what they're doing.
You vaguely hear Reinhold's threat.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head too. This boy's gonna get himself killed. Is there any way I can go back into the door, grab that dude that was closest, and just try to guffaw him? You know, like grab him and punch him, knock him out.
Sure. Yeah, let's go back, and you can come right back in, and
even a sword pommel or something. I don't want to kill him.
Yep. You can use a broadsword with one bane.
But I get one boon when attacking, so it cancels out.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So it cancels. Just gonna be straight up.
Where's my token? I lost myself.
Oh, I should have put you. Should be back still there.
Yeah, I can't see anything either.
Yeah, you're down there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You're in the underbelly.
I'll let Bo see up here too. I'll put him in.
Broadsword straight
Put him in
up.
Reinhold's eyes.
Oh, what a terrible place to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, that's a nice solid smack to the side of the head with the pommel of your broadsword. And it definitely rings his bell.
Shout out as I come in and go, "No, boy, you'll get yourself killed. Come, give flight instead."
Okay, so now the captain says, "Get them!" And so let's see. This guy is going to have to try to make a will check here. He's not going anywhere. Let's try this guy. Nope. Those two of them like sort of hesitate, like they're going to come, and they're not going anywhere, and the guys behind them sure as hell aren't going anywhere. They're not going. So they actually kind of barely perceptibly kind of back away even a little bit. They look nervous. And they're kind of looking at each other. This guy that you hit, and Wolf, though, he kind of panics and attacks you with his spear. But that is going to be a miss.
Clay?
Not
what
even
a poor
close.
bastard. Clay spear? Not even iron?
So, I don't know why it says clay spear. That's interesting.
I was gonna say, I was like, damn, these poor bastards.
Not made out of clay. Sorry.
Okay.
They're not great spears. They're but they are iron.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
new round. What do you guys decide what you want to do?
Long.
Quick, running upstairs.
Okay. All right, you're doing long, Otto. All right, what are you doing, Rekkr?
He's attacking me. I'm half-heartedly taking it serious. Is there a way to disarm?
Yeah, I think if you are willing to do a Bane, I think you get a shot at doing that. Pretty sure that there's a way to do that.
It's still considered an attack.
Let's see, driving attack, guarded attack. Yeah, there isn't. So there's an unbalancing attack. I'm going to call this a variant of an unbalancing attack. So you make the attack with 1 Bane. If you succeed, he has to make an agility challenge, and if he fails, he'll be disarmed.
Okay. And it's still considered an attack, so my warrior boon cancels the Bane.
Yep, definitely.
Give me natural 20.
Oh, not quite. Just barely.
From leveling? That's a curiosity, because when we leveled like previously, I don't think I've used it.
You've only leveled 1 time, so you should have 4 fortune now. If you haven't spent any.
I spent 1 to not die.
Yeah, so you should have 3 if you don't have. And I noticed, by the way, they updated the character sheets since we played last.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They have a few enhancements. I haven't even had time to really look them over, but
yeah, my fortune says 2, but
there's good stuff in there.
Did I spend 2? I can't remember.
You might have spent 1, so you probably should have 1. I probably forgot to tell you to add 1 when you leveled.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So okay. So you didn't quite get a solid hit on his spear, so he is not disarmed.
Okay, basically go along the lines. Stop trying to poke me with that, but get hurt.
He is gonna try to poke you with it. Oh, that actually does hit you. So you take 5 damage, Rekkr. Not a solid hit, but a good graze.
Now I'm pissed.
So that's 6 you're at. I just added it to your little red bubble.
Good, because I can't. I'm dragging and dragging and dragging.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sure it's all the crazy lighting. I sometimes forget. It works fine for me, so.
That's all I care about.
Last game we did it wasn't bad, but this game is.
Well, there may be a lot. This is also a very. I put a
large
lot of
map.
little building maps on this same thing. I probably need to break them out more.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't test the system too much. All right, so Otto, you're running up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can pretty much get up near Reinhold in a single move.
That's what I do. Which one of the dudes has my pistol?
The captain took it from the guy.
Okay.
The captain has it now.
Okay. Need my pistol back, man.
And so the captain's action is to yell at his men to get their asses moving. He is infuriated that they are not moving. All right, well, let's see if he convinces them. I'll give them another shot as a whole. They are not really. They're more afraid of witchcraft than they are of him at the moment. So they're on guard, but they are not making a move against you, Reinhold. So you can go now, Reinhold. What do you want to do?
I'm trying to think of like what the short moves were again. How far you could go? Is it just like an eye test thing? That's kind of. I mean, I can pretty sure I can walk out.
Yeah, with 1 move. 1 action, I'd put you to where Rekkr is there.
Oh, no, definitely not that. But I'm just going to stride forward out the door here and look at all of them and then look to the captain last. And I'd like to roll this and see if I actually do it before I talk shit, but give me a moment here.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to use stone blades on the captain, and I realize that's a cone attack, but it's in a corner, and I just want to make a point.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even miss. I'll turn that 3 into a 6 with a fortune.
With a fortune?
Mm-hmm. I want to fuck him up.
Okay. He's got to make an agility check. So that would be 11. Let's see if he makes his agility check. He absolutely does not. All right, yeah, these blades go slicing into the captain, and he cries out in pain and just like collapses into the corner. And that's enough to these guys start running. They just start scattering. They don't have much place to go except the two guys in the back there. They have stairs to go up, so they start to go upstairs. Except this guy on Rekkr, he doesn't really know what's going on because he looks terrified that he's got this big Norseman kind of guy bearing down on him. So new round.
Quick.
Quick.
Yeah, quick attack.
Okay. You guys are first then. Go ahead.
Is the captain unconscious, or is he dead, or
You don't know.
Okay.
You didn't even see it hit the captain. Actually, you just saw, for the first time ever, you saw some like weird solid like icicles come out of Reinhold's hands and disappear out of view, and then you heard the captain groan in pain.
Mm-hmm. I would run out where Reinhold is, and I guess try to retrieve my pistol off the captain.
Okay, make an agility check with a boon for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You and what's yeah. Okay, and what's Reinhold doing?
Reinhold just sort of stands over the captain. You were so concerned about finding a murderer. Well, you're about to look upon one before you die. Your last moments. And I'm just gonna...
Oh, before he does that, Otto's like, wait. He's like, there's no reason to kill him.
Reinhold's power drunk right now. I'm just gonna...
Well, what
does spike him.
Oh, God.
Do you have another one?
2 casts, it says here.
Okay, then you can do it.
That damage is garbage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it still hit him. It makes him much less comfortable. And Otto, you grab the pistol.
Yeah, and then he says, "Where do you keep your bullets?" No,
he looks at you incredulously. Who are you?
I'm just kidding. God, Rekkr.
All right. Yeah. Poor Henkel here. He's just like panicked. And he makes his way over Rekkr. He doesn't look like he's gonna attack you, but you can see he's trying to make for the door.
And as I do my action, I will let him by sidestepping. I go, get, run, flee.
Yep, he does. He rushes out the door, and you can attack or whatever you were gonna do.
Yeah, as I do that, I'll turn around and go, you, however, you dare to draw blood on me? Have I not given you a friend? Just actually go at him with the broadsword.
All right. For reals now.
Yeah, for reals. Come on, lag monster.
Lag monster, yeah.
I typed in 1 5 minutes ago.
Ooh, Ooh, that is barely a miss again.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Yeah.
clown sword.
The balloon sword is back.
Yes, the bad sword. All right. He is gonna attack you back with his spear. Ooh, he's getting
Man.
He's messing you up, man.
You take 6 more. You're hurting there, buddy. That was a solid jab now. That was closer to home. That was a nice bad wound in the side of your abdomen there.
Yeah, Otto's like, don't worry about him. Help Rekkr. Long action for me.
And everybody, new round. These guys were just going up the stairs. You can see they're not going to be any trouble anymore. And this guy doesn't know what to do. He tried to cower by the fireplace, but then now there's a space, and he kind of goes for the stairs too. He just kind of makes a headlong dash. He tosses his spear down. He's the one that had the helmet on, and his helmet just flies off as he rushes for the steps.
And fuck this. See ya.
Yeah. Okay. And what are you guys doing?
I'll do it quick.
Okay.
It says take an action or a triggered breath.
Yeah, triggered actions are things that if a certain condition allows you to do something, like if someone tries to flee without disengaging, you can use a triggered action to attack. So you get 1 free triggered action each round if there's a circumstance for it. Usually there isn't going to be anything.
Yeah, but if I use an action, that's my action turn.
Yes, yep.
And I'm assuming that's considered a long action. Catch your breath.
Long action would be if you're going to do an action and a move, yeah.
So if I'm just going to do an action and just be quick, so be catch your breath quick.
Okay. All right, so you guys can go first. Whoever wants to go.
I'll do it. I'm just gonna blow my metaphorical, literal, magical load here and use unerring darts on the guard fighting Rekkr.
Okay.
I told you all to run or die. Stop wasting my time, and just fling my darts towards him. And all 7 are gonna go at him.
Ooh. Okay. He was just about to make what he thought would be a triumphant lunge at Rekkr, and as he raises his spear for the attack, these darts just fly into his back, and you see him kind of stop in mid-thrust and drop the spear, kind of look at his back, and just kind of contort and fall to the ground. Okay.
And the room goes silent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, Rekkr, he's half oblivious. He thinks the guy's lunging towards him.
Yeah, you were preparing to defend yourself there.
Yeah, he's like, looks over and then looks at the two of y'all, just total mixture of disgust, dismay, and just outright shock. And he's just like, I told him I didn't want anyone to die.
Yeah, I'm gonna reload.
Okay,
For my
you just
action.
stand there calmly reloading.
Well, not calmly, but so Darren, I don't remember. Do I know any of the other members of Simon, by chance?
You don't know them because you all come anytime you went to the meetings. Everyone is masked. You're not.
And I just knew Hans.
Yes, you knew Hans.
Okay.
But I mean, you know them all to be influential.
Yeah.
People. They none of them had an air of being common street.
Yeah.
You know.
So if
educated and
mm-hmm.
yeah.
So before Reinhold does anything, Otto steps in front of it and puts a foot on the guard captain's chest and points his pistol down. He's like, "Are you a member of Simon?" The sons of Simon, is that what it is?
You can see he's bleeding. There's blood coming out of his mouth now, just kind of trickling down his cheek and chin. And he says, "You'll be hearing from Simon, I'm sure."
Oh, God. Yeah, he's like, "Yes, not before my son has his own vengeance." He takes a step back and just walks past Reinhold.
I just give him one good smack to the head with the staff, bludgeon him.
Okay. He is bludgeoned. He's helpless at this point, so yeah, you just smash his head in.
Wow.
All right. I'd say you stride out of here, and that seems like a pretty good place to stop, because now I have to think about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Holy shit.
When I put this together, my whole plan was whatever you guys do, I'm going to roll with it. So I purposely did not try to plan too far ahead on anything.
I just could not.
I had
Yeah,
no
like,
idea where all this was going to go. Yeah.
I didn't know I was gonna do that until like oh God, what did he say? Hans said something right at the end. He said something right at the end, and I was like, that almost pisses me off. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. I was like, yeah, I got to do this. So.
Don't be surprised when we get out of town.
Oh.
I'm going to pause. I'm going to drink a healing potion. Then I'm going to probably punch both of you.
Do you want to punch me after that? Have you seen magic?